Hi everyone! I am very happy to be with all of you viewers. Don't forget to subscribe before the video starts and make us happy by liking the video. And hit the notification button. Basic rights for human life. Basic human rights are fundamental entitlements that every individual possesses simply by virtue of being human. These rights are universal, inalienable, and inherent, forming the bedrock of human dignity, freedom, and justice. They encompass civil, political, economic, social, and cultural dimensions, ensuring that individuals can lead lives of equality, respect, and opportunity. This essay explores the concept of basic human rights, their historical evolution, their significance in contemporary society, and the ongoing challenges in their realization. Historical evolution of human rights. Early philosophical foundations. The concept of human rights has ancient roots, with early philosophical foundations laid by thinkers such as Confucius, Aristotle, and the Stoics, who emphasized the intrinsic worth and dignity of individuals. However, the modern notion of universal human rights began to take shape during the Enlightenment. In the 17th and 18th centuries, philosophers like John Locke argued for natural rights, including life, liberty, and property, which he believed were inherent to all individuals and should be protected by the state. The Magna Carta and early legal documents. One of the earliest legal documents to articulate the idea of human rights was the Magna Carta of 1215, which limited the powers of the English monarchy and established certain legal protections for subjects. Although its scope was limited, the Magna Carta laid the groundwork for the development of constitutional and legal frameworks that protect individual rights. The Enlightenment and revolutionary movements. The Enlightenment era significantly advanced the discourse on human rights, emphasizing reason, individualism, and the notion of universal rights. The American Declaration of Independence, 1776, and the French Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, 1789, were landmark documents that proclaimed the equality of all men and their entitlement to fundamental rights such as liberty, property, and security. The United Nations and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The horrors of World War II and the Holocaust galvanized the international community to codify human rights more comprehensively. In 1948, the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which set out a broad range of rights and freedoms to which all individuals are entitled. The UDHR has since become a cornerstone of international human rights law, influencing numerous treaties, national constitutions, and legal systems worldwide. Categories of basic human rights. Civil and political rights. Civil and political rights are fundamental to the protection of individual freedoms and the maintenance of democratic societies. These rights include the right to life, liberty, and personal security, freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, freedom of expression, the right to peaceful assembly and association, and the right to participate in government. These rights are essential for safeguarding individuals from arbitrary state actions and ensuring their ability to participate fully in civic life. The significance of basic human rights. Protection of individual dignity. Basic human rights are crucial for protecting individual dignity and autonomy. They ensure that every person is treated with respect and is free from discrimination, violence, and exploitation. By affirming the inherent worth of all individuals, human rights provide a foundation for mutual respect and social cohesion. Promotion of equality and justice. Human rights are instrumental in promoting equality and justice. They seek to eliminate discrimination based on race, gender, ethnicity, religion, or other status, and to ensure that all individuals have equal access to opportunities and resources. By addressing systemic inequalities and injustices, human rights contribute to the creation of more inclusive and equitable societies. Enhancement of freedom and democracy. Human rights are essential for the enhancement of freedom and democracy. They protect individuals' freedom of expression, assembly, and association, enabling them to participate fully in political and civic life. By ensuring that individuals can hold governments accountable and advocate for their rights, human rights strengthen democratic institutions and processes. Challenges in realizing basic human rights. Political repression and authoritarianism. Political repression and authoritarianism pose significant challenges to the realization of basic human rights. In many countries, governments suppress dissent, curtail freedoms, and violate individuals' rights with impunity. Human rights defenders, journalists, and activists often face harassment, imprisonment, and violence for their efforts to promote human rights and hold authorities accountable. Economic inequality and poverty. Economic inequality and poverty undermine the realization of economic, social, and cultural rights. Despite progress in reducing global poverty, millions of people still lack access to basic necessities such as food, clean water, education, and healthcare. Economic disparities also limit individuals' opportunities and perpetuate cycles of disadvantage and marginalization. Discrimination and social exclusion. Discrimination and social exclusion remain pervasive barriers to the realization of human rights. Individuals and communities often face discrimination based on race, gender, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, and other characteristics. Such discrimination not only violates individuals' rights but also hinders their ability to participate fully in society and access essential services and opportunities. Armed conflict and humanitarian crises. Armed conflict and humanitarian crises present formidable challenges to the protection of human rights. In conflict zones, individuals are often subject to violence, displacement, and deprivation of basic necessities. Humanitarian crises, whether due to natural disasters or human actions, exacerbate vulnerabilities and disrupt efforts to ensure human rights protection. Efforts to promote and protect human rights. International human rights organizations. International human rights organizations play a vital role in promoting and protecting human rights globally. Bodies such as the United Nations Human Rights Council, Amnesty International, and Human Rights Watch monitor human rights violations, advocate for victims, and hold perpetrators accountable. These organizations work to raise awareness, provide support to affected individuals and communities, and pressure governments to uphold their human rights obligations. National Human Rights Institutions. National Human Rights Institutions, NHRIs, are established by governments to protect and promote human rights within their jurisdictions. NHRIs conduct investigations, provide recommendations, and work with civil society to address human rights issues. They play a critical role in ensuring that national laws and policies align with international human rights standards and in holding governments accountable for their human rights commitments. Grassroots and civil society activism. Grassroots and civil society activism are essential components of the human rights movement. Individuals and community-based organizations advocate for their rights and those of others, often at great personal risk. Civil society activists work to empower marginalized groups, raise awareness of human rights issues, and mobilize collective action to demand justice and accountability. The role of education in promoting human rights. Human rights education. Education plays a critical role in promoting and protecting human rights. Human rights education involves teaching and learning about the rights and responsibilities that all people have as members of a global community. It aims to empower individuals with the knowledge, skills, and attitudes needed to promote human dignity, equality, and respect for diversity. Human rights education can take place in formal settings, such as schools and universities, as well as in informal settings, such as community workshops and media campaigns. By integrating human rights principles into educational curricula, educators can help foster a culture of respect for human rights and encourage students to become active and informed citizens. Empowering marginalized communities. Education is a powerful tool for empowering marginalized communities and addressing systemic inequalities. Access to quality education enables individuals to acquire the knowledge and skills needed to improve their economic and social conditions. It also helps individuals understand and assert their rights, participate in decision-making processes, and advocate for social change. Programs that focus on inclusive education, gender equality, and the rights of minorities and indigenous peoples are particularly important in promoting human rights. These programs help ensure that all individuals, regardless of their background, have the opportunity to achieve their full potential and contribute to society. Legal frameworks and mechanisms for human rights protection. International human rights treaties. International human rights treaties provide a legal framework for the protection and promotion of human rights. These treaties, which are binding on the countries that ratify them, set out the rights and obligations of states to respect, protect, and fulfill human rights. Key international human rights treaties include the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, and the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, ICESCR. Regional human rights systems. Regional human rights systems complement international treaties by providing additional mechanisms for the protection of human rights. These systems include regional treaties, courts, and commissions that address human rights issues specific to their regions. Notable regional human rights systems include the European Convention on Human Rights and the European Court of Human Rights, the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights and the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, and the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and the African Court on Human and People's Rights. National legislation and institutions. At the national level, countries enact laws and establish institutions to protect human rights. National constitutions often enshrine fundamental rights and freedoms, and specific legislation addresses issues such as discrimination, labor rights, and access to justice. National human rights institutions, NHRIs, play a crucial role in monitoring and promoting human rights within their countries. These institutions, which operate independently of the government, investigate human rights violations, provide recommendations, and engage with civil society to address human rights concerns. Conclusion. Basic human rights are fundamental to the dignity, freedom, and well-being of every individual. Their historical evolution reflects a long and ongoing struggle to recognize and protect the inherent worth of all human beings. While significant progress has been made, numerous challenges remain in the realization of these rights. Political repression, economic inequality, discrimination, and armed conflict continue to threaten the human rights of millions worldwide. However, through the efforts of international organizations, national institutions, and grassroots activists, there is hope for a future where the basic rights of all individuals are respected and upheld. The continued promotion and protection of human rights are essential for building a just, equitable, and compassionate world. Thank you for watching the video. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe and don't forget to like and comment. Bye until the next video.